Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dylan EDU, and a few months ago, I made a video about the rise of separatist parties in Quebec, but boy, have things changed. At the time when I made that video, I was making a big deal about how the separatist Parti Québécois had grown to become the second place party, and together the separatist parties were polling at 37%. But now, that has grown into the Parti Québécois being in first place, polling around 32%, and together the separatists have 49%. But why has this happened? The PQ has 4 seats right now, and 338 is saying they would win 57 if an election happened today. Why did the CAQ go from being so popular to now being projected to become a third place party? The question many will ask is, does this mean Quebec is trying to leave again? Well, sure, separatist parties are growing and becoming very strong, but sorry to all the Quebec separatists out there, Quebec isn't likely to have a referendum pass on sovereignty. Despite polling us supporting the PQ or QS, according to a Legault survey, 25% of PQ supporters don't even support separation, and 65% of Quebec Solidaire supporters don't support separation. Overall, only 34% of Quebecers would vote yes if a referendum was today, which is basically the exact same as what polls have shown for years now. But why? Why is Legault rapidly sinking in the polls? What did he do? Well, there have been multiple bad things that have happened in Quebec, which, rightly or wrongly, have made Legault look bad. The plethora of strikes in Quebec among teachers, nurses, lab technicians, and the public sector in general have made Legault look very, very bad. School being out for 4 weeks makes a premier who has built his brand on competence look very incompetent, and a notable flip-flop occurred in Quebec when he decided to revive the idea of a tunnel between Quebec City and the Vie, which has been very controversial in Quebec. This just happened to occur after Legault's CAQ lost a by-election in Quebec City to the PQ, giving the impression that this was some form of bribe. But why does this mean the rise of the PQ? Well, it has more to do with Legault than the PQ. Legault has been notable for his not seen in Canada approach to immigration and language. Legault has made multiple laws to promote the importance of the French language in Quebec, from restricting access to the English language services to raising tuition costs for non-Quebec students at English universities. He has also implemented secularism law, which banned government workers from wearing religious symbols, namely the hijab, while at work. And most interesting, these laws are actually fairly popular among Francophone Quebecers. The PQ has taken a smart stance in my opinion. They, in theory, support all of this, but voted against Bill 96 because it didn't go far enough. Bill 96 was the bill that denied access to English language services. So while supporting these changes is a bare minimum, they also energize the traditional "we want a country" voters, which is important because separatism derives from the idea that Quebec is a unique nation. The CAQ has lost public trust through the perceived incompetence of the Legault government. So CAQ voters who agree with the way Legault has run Quebec's economy and agree with him on culture issues, but are sick of Legault himself and mad about the situation in Quebec, are moving to the PQ. The only possible issue for the PQ is the fact that they are a separatist party. They've held every single Quebec referendum upon their succession in their history. In 2018, their leader made a big promise that there would be no referendum in the first term, so I'm curious if PSPP would promote something similar so as to not scare people away over the idea of separation. And regardless, people can support the PQ and vote no in a referendum. But a fear with the fall of the dominant CAQ is that Quebec politics could enter a state of utter instability. The PQ still hasn't earned enough support to be in certain majority territory. Sure, they are near there, but between the potential for things to change and the fact that Quebec political support is near unpredictable, their form of first past the post could produce some weird results. Imagine the result on 338's projection. There was no evidence to suggest that the CAQ would support the PQ, given likely on the account of their sharp criticism for not going far enough on French protection and the fact that the CAQ wouldn't want to vote with separatists. The Liberals and Conservatives are the only possible alliance I could imagine, as they are both staunch Federalists, just the Liberals are centrist, and the Conservative Party is centre-right. The Quebec Solidaire would not align with the PQ, because the PQ is not a very left-wing party, and could even be called right-wing on some things, while the Quebec Solidaire is a very left-wing party. So you could imagine elections happening every few months. In this case, Legault would likely resign on election night, so the CAQ would be in no place to force an election on the throne speech, Once their new leaders in place, they would force an election. Basically, Quebec would be continually having elections until someone wins a fluke majority and could govern for 4 years. And it's made all the weirder with how first past the post dilutes Quebec election results and makes weird vote to seat ratios. So I could see Quebec implementing some form of proportional representation once all the parties magically decide it's a good idea. Doesn't fix the instability, however. So the situation would likely last until they are able to reach deals with each other to form coalitions. So the conclusions from this video: 1. Yes, Legault has found himself in a bit of a tricky situation where he has to correct course and rely on Quebecers change their minds mentality. 2. The PQ is growing because of the fact that they have views that are popular with the Quebec public but haven't stressed separation. And 3. Quebec is likely headed for utter political instability. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as that helps me out a lot. But apart from that, have a good rest of your day and see you.